Financial frauds and scams continue to escalate at an alarming rate, with senior citizens across the United States losing billions annually to increasingly sophisticated scams. The Santa Rosa Police Department's Property Crimes Investigations team has investigated numerous cases involving fraud or theft by deception over the past several months. We wanted to bring some attention to a few common scams utilized by fraudsters targeting Santa Rosa residents, as well as some tips to keep you and your family members' finances safe.
In tech support scams, fraudsters pose as technical support agents, claiming issues with the victim's computer or software, and request remote access or payment for fake services. In reality, fraudsters obtain access to computers with the sole intent of logging into victims' mobile banking applications and obtaining sensitive banking information to commit theft or drain bank accounts. In bank impersonation scams, fraudsters may obtain compromised financial information such as learning that victim banks with local bank, and contact the victim pretending to be from their bank with a fake report of fraud on the account. Fraudsters may already know information such as victim social security numbers, and use it to be very convincing. Fraudsters will typically spoof phone calls as well to make it appear as if the call is coming from a financial institution's legitimate phone number. Once the victim is convinced they are speaking with a real bank employee, the scammers will oftentimes ask the victim for a unique PIN or two-factor authentication method sent by the bank in order to access their financial accounts. In reality, banks typically do not ask for these two-factor authentications via unsolicited phone calls. In government impersonation scams, scammers pretend to be officials from agencies like the IRS or Social Security Administration, threatening legal action to extract personal information or payments. This is particularly prevalent during tax season. In reality, the IRS or government will typically not call you about a warrant, and will never ask you to take care of an arrest warrant by wire transferring money or purchasing gift cards. Impersonators claim to be a grandchild in distress, requesting immediate financial assistance. We also routinely see these scams evolve with more elaborate stories, such as children or grandchildren having been arrested and being prosecuted for things like car accidents, DUIs, or more serious charges. Scammers may impostor attorneys or government agents asking for bail money or funds to assist in legal defense. With romance scams, scammers routinely socially engineer fake romantic relationships online to gain the victim's trust and eventually request money or sensitive personal identifying information. These scams routinely target individuals who are single or widowed, and can take place over weeks or months. Individuals engineering these scams typically target victims they find on social media, to include dating websites frequently utilized by or built for senior citizens. With investment fraud scams, scammers offer fraudulent investment opportunities, often involving cryptocurrencies, promising high returns to lure victims. It is not uncommon with these scams for the fraudsters to maintain very realistic-looking websites that allow victims to log in and see their investments grow. These websites can be so convincing that victims may continue to invest. In courier scams, a recent trend we've seen is scammers asking victims to obtain cash from their local bank branches, or purchase gift cards or valuable goods such as gold bars, place them in discreet packages or boxes, and sending a courier to pick these items up. Oftentimes, the couriers have no idea that they are being sent as part of a scam, and these couriers can easily be ordered from across the country or globe by rideshare services, applications. Once picked up, these items change hands from courier to courier until eventually being delivered to somebody involved in the scam and are extremely difficult to track.
Use strong passwords. Implement complex passwords and change them regularly to protect online accounts. Consult trusted people. Before making significant financial decisions or responding to unusual requests, consult with family members or trusted advisors. Vulnerable victims who are more likely to fall for a scam should collaborate with trusted family members or their banks to ensure there are safeguards in place to avoid large withdrawals or transfers.
Verify information. Particularly with grandparent scams, these can easily be proven false by contacting children or grandchildren, or law enforcement agencies, and verifying that they are not in custody or seeking money for bail or attorneys. The same applies with bank or government impersonation scams. By contacting the legitimate government entity or financial institution, most victims can confirm they do not have warrants for their arrest, overdue taxes, or fraud or suspicious activity on their accounts. Be wary of Act Now. A majority of scams are intentionally socially engineered to create high pressure on victims and make them act before giving it more serious thought and considering it may be a scam. If a scammer is making something seem unnecessarily urgent or high pressure, it is likely a scam. Is it too good to be true? When it comes to investment scams, Ponzi schemes, or other get-rich-quick scams, always consider if something seems too good to be true. Most victims who fall for these types of scams later admit that they were suspicious before investing, but were convinced it was legitimate and an opportunity to make quick money.
Be wary of couriers. Law enforcement, financial institutions, and legitimate debt collectors will not send a courier to somebody's house to pick up cash or gold, especially rideshares. Always keep this in mind.
Local organizations and senior centers in Santa Rosa offer resources and workshops to educate seniors about fraud prevention. Engaging in community programs can provide valuable information and support. Many local financial institutions also share this commitment, and bank employees will oftentimes help families create safeguards to prevent the victimization of their customers. The Santa Rosa Police Department is committed to supporting this effort. SRPD volunteers in police services have been trained by property crimes detectives, and have been actively providing presentations to senior living communities and organizations throughout 2024 and 2025 on scam prevention strategies and red flags. For more information on protecting yourself or a loved one from scams, visit the National Council on Aging at www.ncoa.org. To schedule a frauds and scams presentation for a group or organization, please email srpdinfo@srcity.org.